So I'm going to talk a bit about AI in action. Looking at that, I should really get a new pick. Let's start with a bit of history. I want to take you back to the early 1980s. I was about this big. And I got my first computer. And it was awesome. It was a Commodore 64. Who knows about a Commodore 64? It had 64 kilobytes of RAM, people. It was huge. It was massive. So if you look there, that keyboard there was the actual computer. Everything was housed within that keyboard. And you had the joystick. That was very important because you had to be able to play games. That's very, very important. And you had an external TV or monitor that you could attach to it. But very important, you had a tape drive. The tape drive was the lifeblood of your Commodore 64. Some of you are so young here, you won't remember cassettes. But in any case, you could take these cassettes, and if you were lucky and your parents would drive you to someone who had games, you could have a tape deck and you could copy games from one cassette to another. You would come home and you would boot up your Commodore 64. It would be awesome. And then the boot up screen would say, now press play. And you'd press play and it would load data into the 64 kilobytes of RAM. And then it would say, now press pause. Then you press pause and you played your game for about 3 minutes. Then everything froze. And it said, now press play again. Then you press play again. That's how we used to play games. Fast forward about 10 years, early 90s. There I was, running across town with a box of Dyson floppies. 720 kilobytes on each floppy. And the games had grown. So there I was, running across town. Sometimes a game would be 7 or 8 discs. I would copy it at a friend, go back home, start loading this game, and then floppy number 6 would be corrupt. And I had to go back with a different floppy. Fast forward 10 years later, the year 2000. I'm studying computer science at university. I'm doing a course in neural networks, basically the brains of AI. It's an AI course in 2000. At that stage, the biggest neural network in the world, owned by IBM, could handle 100,000 parameters. Let's fast forward another 10 years to 2010. At that stage, the biggest neural network in the world, from 100,000 in 2000, went to 50 million parameters in 10 years' time. Let's fast forward another 10 years. 2020 November. Who knows what happened? ChatGPT got released. From 2010, 50 million parameters, to 2020, another 10 years, we went from 50 million parameters in an AI to 176 billion parameters in 10 years' time. Now we're in 2020, 176 billion parameters. Fast forward 3 years, ChatGPT 4. We go from 176 billion parameters to 1.75 trillion parameters in 3 years' time. 2025. 2 months ago, ChatGPT 5 gets released. And we don't know how many parameters there are. They're not telling us. But just look at this for a moment. From a Commodore 64 to floppy disks to 100,000 parameters, 50 million parameters, 175 billion parameters, 1.76 trillion parameters in my lifetime. The AI tsunami is here. Who of you think that AI will never be able to do your job? Hands up. Come on, you should believe in yourself. As a software developer, I always thought, listen you guys, we are cool. Nobody will ever be able to do what we will be the ones programming the AI. Last year, in America, they had 346,000 computer science graduates. The average unemployment rate in the US last year was 3.4%. For software developer graduates, 11.9%. AI is starting to take over software development jobs. In contrast, for the art history graduates in America, 0.4%. How the tables have turned. Okay. I want to take you through an example here, and I don't have a lot of time, so we're going to have to move a bit. We're going to have to move fast. But what I want to do is I want to just talk a bit about document generation and how AI has changed that. Years ago, document generation meant that you had a little tape deck and you would record it. What do you call that? When you recorded and gave it to your secretary to type out? A dictaphone, yes. And then times changed, and the first word processors came out, and Susie was there, and she typed out a document, and in 3 weeks' time, she opened that same document again and started to change the name and the address, and it was so cool because now she didn't have to retype everything from scratch. And then, as technology evolved, we started to get document generation engines and templates. This is where I'm now diving into the first example. I'm showing you AJS, but what I want to do is to illustrate, just so that we're all on the same page, what the status quo has been for the past 10, 15 years. So, in AJS, web-based system, landing page, at the top right, there's a search bar. I type in a name to get a file, let's say in this case, Rose. It will call up all the files with the name Rose in it. I click on one of them. It will load what we call a quick view on the right-hand side. There you can see all the financials, when last someone paid the account. You can see your contact details, special instructions. But there's a little action button there on the right-hand side. What you will notice is, for example, we've got an integration with Ensinu, that's just by the way. But what I want to do is click on Generate Document, and it will bring up a list of all the predefined templates that we have in the system, document sets. And you'll see there's High Court, Labor Court, Magistrates Court. I just want to show you a very brief anti-nuptial contract example. I'm going to click on the anti-nuptial contract template. It will load all the details from AJS into an interview, like, for example, the contact details. And if there are any other fields that we still need to fill in, like, for example, a wedding date or where the ANC was signed, we fill it in, we click on Generate Document, and there's your ANC generated. And this is what we have been using for the past couple of years, just document generation from a template. Let's just quickly look at what actually happened there. So we've got our matter on the one hand, we've got a template on the other side. Bring them together in a document generation engine. The document generation engine creates an interview for us. The interview prompts us with additional information. We get a final document. Okay, everyone on the same page now. Now the next couple of prompts that I'm going to show you is prompts that I put into ChatGPT. And I want to talk a bit about the power of context. So I went to ChatGPT and I said, tell me a story in 3 sentences. And it said, a lonely crow found a broken pocket watch in a meadow and carried it to its nest, fascinated by its ticking heart. Every night the crow sang to it, believing it to be a sleeping friend. One morning the ticking stopped, and from that silence the crow learned to sing for the sky instead. And I read it and I thought, what a Debbie Downer ChatGPT. You could have done better. But in any case, it did exactly what I said. Tell me a story in 3 sentences. Perfect. So I went to ChatGPT, actual prompts, And I changed it a bit, and I said, write a scary story about a boy called Tabu who lived in Cape Town and wanted to become a pilot. Do this in 3 sentences. And lo and behold, ChatGPT did that for me. Tabu, a boy from Cape Town who dreamed of becoming a pilot, found a torn aviator's journal buried near the old sealed hangar. One night, he snuck inside, and the air turned icy as the ghost of a long-lost pilot emerged, whispering, "Take my place in the sky." Since then, Tabu hasn't been seen, but on stormy nights, a shadowy plane circles above, its pilot grinning with hollow eyes. Once again, ChatGPT followed the context. It's a story about a boy called Tabu who lived in Cape Town, wanted to become a pilot, and he did it in 3 sentences. The next example is where I said to ChatGPT, just write me a poem. And lo and behold, I'm not going to read through it, but ChatGPT wrote a poem, and it actually rhymes. It's pretty good. But now, look at what happens. In my next prompt, I asked it, write a poem about Tabu. And it said, in Cape Town, sunlit sky so wide, young Tabu watched the planes with pride. And I went like, what? How did it know that all of a sudden, I'm just asking about Tabu, but it has built up context about Tabu, and it knows that Tabu wanted to become a pilot, and that he's in Cape Town. So we've given context to the model, and now it knows about Tabu and what he likes. So what will happen if we take that same kind of context from our metadata, from our template, our document generation engine, the interview, and pass that to an AI and give that to the AI as context? Let's see. I'm using an interview here, a document called Interview Request for Evidence Response. It's used in the US where attorneys help with immigration cases, usually for skilled visas. So the case type is a B1 visa. Let's say it's for an accountant or auditor, someone that wants to immigrate into America. And now there's a little block where you would usually just type in text and that would merge into your document. This is the document generation interview. But what you'll notice is there in that block, it asks, provide a job description that describes the skills needed for the job. Now, I don't know what the US Immigration Service wants, so let's ask AI. Type in there, list 10 skills in bullet point format. And we send all of this, the metadata, the template data, the interview data, to an AI, say draft. There it lists your 10 skills required. And this can be merged directly into your document without you having had to draft anything there. I'm going to show you another example. Provide an argument supporting the beneficiary's equivalent experience in accordance with the USCI standards. I don't know what the United States Immigration Services standards are. So I just asked the AI, what experience must the beneficiary have? And lo and behold, AI will give you a whole list of details, experiences that you can either edit or just click on Assemble and merge that into your document, AI generated. This all deals with a template. And this is available for everyone on AJS to use. What I'm going to show you now is not available. This is an AI that we're busy training. So AJS salespeople, you are not allowed to sell this. This is not available yet. Do you hear me, Lizelle? So what I did with this AI is I said, draft a non-disclosure agreement for 2 technology companies who want to integrate the systems using South African law. Without a template, without any context, the AI drafted a non-disclosure agreement. Exported it to PDF, and important, what you will see on the last page, is the provisions of this agreement shall be interpreted and governed in all respects by the laws of the Republic of South Africa. And this is a pretty good NDA drafted by an AI with minimal intervention. Now, we've got our own little NDA in AJS. We use it on a daily basis, I almost want to say. I love it. It's a one-pager. It's short. I can send it to other people, and they can read it. Protects both parties. I took this one-pager of our NDA, uploaded it to this AI, and I asked the AI questions about this document. And the AI can give you insight. Is it well structured? The AI can analyze the document. When it does so, it will ask you, listen here, who must I protect here? Must I protect AJS? Must I protect the other company? Or should I be neutral? So I said, protect AJS, of course. And I'm going to go through this very quickly, but from this one-pager NDA, AI created 43 pages of legal review. Importantly, I'm not going to go through all of the details here, but I'm running out of time. But what it did is it took each and every key provision in my document and analyzed it according to the risk, whether the risk is low, medium, or high. And for each one of these clauses, it will say for which party it constitutes a risk. Like, for example, that high one over there, it says high risk for the recipient. Legal review done within a couple of seconds. For a lawyer, this would have taken a very long time to do something in this detail. I took that terms and conditions that I showed you in my previous talk. I uploaded it to this AI. I just want to show you one example. Our communication conditions is where we say our users are not allowed to use our system to send unsolicited emails, to use it for unlawful practices. They're not allowed to upload files that may damage any other person's computer, etc. AI analyzed it, and it said, okay, here's the strengths of this clause, here's the weaknesses. And then it went and it said, you should add explicit monitoring and reporting rights. And it drafted the new clauses for me to replace my current clause in our terms and conditions. Now, who thinks that this is scary? Couple of hands. I want to leave you with two last thoughts. As the legal profession here today, what should you be focusing on knowing that the AI tsunami is coming? And it's coming for law. The answer is focus on human connections, strategic thoughts, and on morality. Why human connections? As lawyers and legal professionals, people walk into your offices. Look them in the eyes. Have sympathy. Have empathy. People will still want to deal with a human at the end of the day. Focus on strategic thoughts. Think about how you're going to implement AI responsibly within your law firm. And lastly, focus on morality. Why focus on morality? If we took an AI and we put it down in the 1600s and trained it on the laws of the 1600s, can you imagine what that AI would have thought is moral? That AI would have interpreted the laws of the day and said slavery is moral. laws evolve and our human morality evolve. And it's up to the people in this room to guide humanity and to guide AI's morality in the years to come. My last point is a bit philosophical. The Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. 4.5 billion years old. Life on Earth, about 3.6 billion years old. Humanoid apes, about 4 million years old. If you look at the slide, right at the bottom there, we've got the Neanderthals and Homo sapiens, about 130,000 years that we've been on Earth. Now, I know there might be some of you who believe the Earth is 6,000 years old. It doesn't change this argument, but just think about this. For the past 4.5 billion years, the most intelligent species to have ever walked on Earth. Here we are. And that will change in the next couple of years in our lifetime, where we won't be the most intelligent species on Earth anymore. That's scary. Ask yourself, how are we going to engage with that intelligence? I want to encourage you to start thinking about deep and meaningful questions. How are we going to use this intelligence to solve the climate crisis? How are we going to use this intelligence to make the world a better place to live in? And above all, I want to beg you to stop using AI for chocolate cake recipes. Thank you very much. And just a bit of tongue in cheek, I asked ChatGPT, show a thank you screen, and he did so. Thank you, George, you're up.
Sure.